So dear students, we were discussing about module 5, which is related to product building and structures. So in your CAMD lab and CAD lab, you have prepared 3D models using some softwares like Solid Edge, SolidWorks, CATIA, Unigraphics. Okay, once you prepare the model, the next step will be analyzing the model. Okay, that we are going to discuss in today's class. Like in your CAMA lab in 6th semester using ANSYS software, you have done some analysis, okay, right, where the stress is more, color changes you will observe in the software. Okay, where the stress is more, stress is less, like that. Okay, now in today's class we will have a discussion about the analyzing virtual product models. Okay. Products are designed and developed to perform their intended function in a specific environment. Okay, why the products are going to be designed means products are designed and developed to perform their intended function in a specific environment. However, many simultaneous physical forces and phenomena impact product behavior. This you have observed in your CME lab. Okay, these factors coupled with the complexity of products make it difficult to build physical prototypes and conduct experiments to predict its function in the real world environment. So this creates a need for better ways to analyze product behavior against a variety of multiple physics. Computer aided engineering (CAE) is a term used to describe the use of computer software in the product engineering process, from design and visual testing with sophisticated analytical algorithms to the planning of manufacturing. CAE solutions support the engineering process, allowing designers to perform tests and simultaneous simulations of the product's physical properties without requiring a physical prototype. This is the advantage of using computer softwares for testing or analyzing the virtual products which have been prepared by using 3D softwares. Okay, right. So this will allow the without requiring of a physical prototypes, we can analyze the behavior of the product, okay, in some specific environment conditions or some physical forces or phenomenon which will make impact on the product behavior. While CAD is used to create a geometrical product representation within a virtual environment, CAE it is computer aided engineering. CAE allows a deeper analysis of the product. CAE finds applications in engineering fields like fluid dynamics, kinematics, stress analysis, finite element analysis, etc. Typically, where product development is concerned, throughout the virtual development cycle, CAD and CAE go hand in hand. CAE helps to reduce the number of physical prototypes and experiments and optimize components in their design phase to develop better products faster. There are various methods to evaluate product designs. However, a few of the virtual methods using CAE analysis are discussed in brief as follows. There will be various methods to evaluate the product designs. Out of that, we are going to have discussion few of the things here. One is FEA, that is finite element analysis. Finite element analysis, FEA, is the simulation of given product or any given physical phenomenon using numerical technique called finite element method. The technique is used to calculate stress, deformation, thermal load, structural dynamics, or NVH, that is noise, vibration and harshness, and predict the behavior of the product in a real physical environment. This you have done in your CMA lab. Okay, you have analyzed stress, deformation, thermal load, okay, structural dynamics, noise, vibration and harshness. For example, a sitting chair. Okay, this is the most popular example which will be considered for FEA. Okay, for example, a sitting chair can be analyzed for stress distribution to identify critical locations of failure and maximum safe load it can support in order to avoid failure. The potential issues thus identified and analyzed by FEA helps design engineers to review and optimize the design at an early stage, thereby saving time, energy, and money involved in developing the product. Various software tools like CATIA, Hypermesh, ANSYS, etc. are used for the purpose. These ANSYS and Hypermesh are most preferably used type of softwares for FEA. FEA works by discretization, that is breaking down a large structure with high degree of physical complexities and mathematical discontinuities into smaller, more manageable sections. Each section represents the material properties of its local domain. The mathematical model or geometrical model extracted from 3D CAD model is discretized by the finite element method, resulting in corresponding numerical models. The discretized equations are solved simultaneously and the results are analyzed to determine how the larger structure will respond to the external or internal stimuli. Okay, boundary conditions of loads, example force, moments, okay, restraints, example bearings, fixed parts, material characteristics, temperatures, and other factors are defined directly in the FE program. Designers can run simultaneous with various component designs, and compare outputs in a short span of time, thereby eliminating the need for complex testing and analysis using physical prototypes. So the next method will be CFD, that is computational fluid dynamics. This is the most booming field nowadays. Okay, CFD, predicting the behavior of products working under extreme environments like liquid or gas flow, heating or cooling, chemical reactions, turbulence, and other related physical phenomena has always been a challenging task for product designers and analysts. Computational fluid dynamics, briefly abbreviated as CFD, is a term used to refer to a wide spectrum of numerical methods used for visual analyzing and predicting complex 3D time-independent flow phenomena related to products. For example, simulating and analyzing the flow of gas over turbine blades, temperature distribution in a heat exchanger, etc. The analysis approach in this regard is similar to finite element analysis, except the software used being different. The data transfer from the 3D CAD model into the CFD program is performed by neutral standard data formats, example STEP, IGS, etc. And the boundary conditions for the calculations are defined directly in the CFD program. Solves like CFX, Fluent, Nastron, etc. are few software used to conduct the analysis. Now, physical and virtual prototyping have their own characteristics. It is important to note that physical and virtual prototyping are not two competing technologies, they are complementary. It is not recommended to try and entirely eliminate physical prototyping from the design process, but instead integrate virtual prototyping and simulation at appropriate development stages to address its weakness and limitations. Third will be multi-body simulation, and that is MBS. MBS, multi-body simulation, is a computer tool with which multi-body system is a system in which one or more bodies are connected to each other with joints. The body may be rigid, flexible, or plain links that connect two pieces together. The purpose of the joints is to limit the relative movement of the bodies. So multi-body systems can be simulated using computational methods. MBS, that is multi-body simulation, models are based on general geometrical definitions in CAD product structures. They consist of stiff bodies or mass points which are connected with each other or the environment by joints, kinematic constraints, and or by specific force laws. They are very suitable for modeling complex inhomogeneous structures such as full vehicles, and particularly for the low frequency range of motions. The boundary conditions, example forces, torsional moments, masses, moments of inertia, uh, degrees of freedom of movement are defined directly in the MBS program. The separation of the locally distributed parameters into discrete parameters, like example mass, inertia, stiffness, damping, leads to the physical disc- discretization of the product model. Besides a rigid consideration of kinematic systems, elastic submodels from FEM modeling can be imported and integrated on demand. Next will be process production or process planning and control, that is PPC. Okay, production planning and control includes the uh, administration and organization of manufacturing, relevant data and procedures. Only the released product data are transferred into the production planning process. PPC data are organized in BOM, that is bill of material, structures, and based on 3D CAD geometry, 2D drawings, and additional manufacturing relevant information. Two important influencing factors in this regard are the working schedule and manufacturing resources. Firstly, the basic economic and operational functions of PPC include the management of customer orders, project calculation, planning of requirements, material logistics, production capacity calculation, and the order release organization. Secondly, PPC covers production control related tasks such as production management and control, operating data logging, controlling processes regarding time, quality, quantity, and costs, and shipment management. While PPC covers the economic and operational tasks of manufacturing, CAD or CAM operations basically handle technical functions. The working fields of CAD and CAM can also be divided into two groups. The first group includes planning processes such as product concept development, design and simulation, process planning, material logistics, and programming of production machines and resources, while the second group includes the control of manufacturing and quality management related procedures. This also includes the control of NC machines, transportation control, storage management, assembly control, maintenance management, and quality management. Next will be related to product data technology. Product data technology, that is PDT, includes all aspects of the definition and methods of processing of data information related to a product throughout its development and operational life cycle. The management of all data flow, processes, and documents during the development or modification of products across the product life cycle provides the basis for an efficient virtual product generation. Product data can be classified into different categories as follows. This is important. PDT is important. That is product data technology. Okay, there will be classified into different categories. The first one will be product defining data. Relates to the technical requirements that includes all kinds of data for product specification. For example, in the case of automotive product development, the data can be related to driving performance, car weight, fuel consumption, dimensions, targeted vehicle configurations, and other factors. Next, product describing data relates to the technical product documentation that include all the information that can be found in the bill of materials, that is BOM list. Third will be geometry data, relates to the CAD model files, styling data, geometry data, exchange formats, CAD based product structures and other design based data. And the fourth will be data information concerning the development process itself, includes workflow data, management of resources, data for engineering organization and others. Fifth will be product configuration data, relates to the information about possible variants. For example, the data that define the set of the car in accordance with the customer order, including the type of engine and transmission, safety features, colors and all possible accessories. Sixth will be metadata that describe additional product related facts such as production related information or data for calculation and organization. The exchange of product data within the same software environment is mainly performed by native data formats, while importing product data from 3D CAD program into FE simulation is accomplished with the use of neutral data formats. In the case of product design and simulation related processes, neutral data formats provide product geometry data and limited additional product information for the exchange between different CAD software or software packages or between CAD and CAE applications. Neutral data formats can be divided in geometrically accurate systems which transform CAD native product information into sets of mathematical description of the model geometries. Examples are IGS, STEP or VDA formats. Besides a purely geometrical representation, enhanced neutral data formats are able to include additional facts such as product structuring information or the configuration of components, models and sub-assemblies. The second group of neutral data formats concerns solutions which are able to convert the product geometry into models with approximated, that is tessellated geometry. Examples of neutral data formats with tessellated geometries include STL, VRML, WRL. In addition, XML based, that is extensible markup language geometry description also works with tessellation algorithms. These approximated product data are often used in DMU based investigations or for visualization tasks for the application into the corresponding format. In the case of data import, neutral data have to be converted or integrated into the corresponding software specific format, which means that the target program must be able to read the specific type of neutral data format. Next will be, unlike native data formats, neutral data languages cannot contain detailed design process related to knowledge such as the design history, product parameterization, implemented algorithms or macros functionalities, etc. This limits the application of neutral data formats to geometry based processes and restricts advanced automation or design integration. For this reason, alternative methods and strategies have emerged in recent years. One such method is to manage data exchange by integrating product data management It is PDM systems. PDM system manages the entire product data range, including geometry data, product structure, additional data such as materials, tolerances, and production related information, and organizes the data and information flow throughout the development and life cycle process of a product. Additional information related to PDM has been provided in Module 1 of the present subject discussion. Next, we are moving with the second part of Module 5, that is product structure. In PLM, product structure describes the main parts or components, subcomponents, assemblies, and document formats in hierarchical way. Product structure explains the fact regarding how the product is divided into components, which are divided into subcomponents, etc., thereby giving the essential details in an organized manner. The product structure, apart from containing the 3D model of parts, also contain metadata that gives all information about the parts like material information, manufacturing processes, etc. The product structure in many respects from the heart of the PLM system. Figure 5.3 shows the product structure of a bicycle in its simplest form. Okay, right? So please refer figure 5.3, generic product structure or product model of a bicycle. So bicycle, next the handlebars, frame assembly, seat. Okay, these are main components, whereas in the frame assembly there will be sub components like wheel 2, frame 1. Okay, in wheel 2 again spokes will be there, that is 25, tire rims will be there. In the frame there will be aluminum tubing will be there and paint will be there. Okay, right? So along with this we are able to get file versions for each type of file related. So there will be attribute values are part name, part number, manufacturer number. And data set files are 3D models, drawings, requirements, and viewable file. And related data are manufacturing data, tooling data, costing data, and change orders. Next, moving ahead with the usage of PLM tools. So PLM tools are used to manage product structure and to store all data in a single database, allowing every user to access the information by local computers. Product structure keeps latest design information and by the help of PLM tools, every user can reach the latest design information at the same time. In PLM tools, each detailed part or assembly is represented as an item in the product structure with part number and part description. Detailed information about parts like 3D model and metadata is kept under item revisions. The item revisions are released in PLM tools and changes are controlled. On item revisions accordingly. In case there is a need to update parts after release of latest version, the item is revised again and new revision is updated according to new requirements. Latest item revisions are thus linked to product structure. To construct and maintain product structure properly, different item types and different roles are used in PLM tools. Every technical personnel are responsible for their own item type and cannot change other design related data. This shows the importance of using PLM tools in the organization to manage design data in a more suitable and protected way. Some specialists use the term product structure and bill of materials, that is BOM, interchangeably. The same are used as different terms in the context of this book. Okay, the term BOM, that is bill of materials, used to refer to the list of parts used in one assembly, while product structure is used to refer the whole structure constructed for a product. Next will be variant management. So customers expect and demand not just a product that meets their functional needs, but also one that is tailored to specifically meet their expectations. This includes style, color, special features, and conveniences of their choice. For example, the variants of motorbike may include different style of design, color, features, etc. Bikes were developed with kick-starting facility. However, people starting expecting to have power starting along with the kickstart facility. Further, international markets with local particularities like people, rules, and regulations often demand products in different variants. Variant requires requests may come in the form of new requirements and behavior from customers and new suppliers from new markets. A critical need in the development of varied product is the ability to effectively manage the common features and variations in the various specifications. Ideally, the specifications for requirements, tests, and risk assessment, etc., should be maintained in a single master specification document for each artifact type that covers entire product. There should be an easy way to reuse different applicable subsets of these master specifications to create specifications fully covering each product in the product line family. A dedicated variant management tool is thus needed for all but most trivial product lines. Variant management is a holistic approach to control and optimize product diversification with respect to production costs and market strategy. The key idea of variant management is to optimize the number of product variants that can be manufactured while reducing the complexity of product development and manufacturing. Production costs are typically kept low by manufacturing only a small amount of different models that are common and recurring for multiple products. These modules can then be manufactured in large scales. Variant management continues to be a critical consideration early in the product life cycle, especially as evolving design paradigms influence product variants. Next is variant management approach. Variant bill of materials, that is BOM. Bill of materials is a list of raw materials, sub-assemblies, intermediate assemblies, sub-components, parts, and quantities of each needed to manufacture an end product. In certain instances, it is referred as product structure. Is a critical aspect in the BOM is a critical aspect in the variant management approach. Managing a distinct bill of material for each variant of a product and updating configurations as the product evolves is a time consuming and tedious task. Variant management makes use of A single BOM referred as variant BOM for multiple variants of the same product. Maintaining a single BOM can be comparatively powerful as it will help to manage a consistent set of concerned connected information for multiple product development and manufacturing stages and address a specific product design and manufacturing options. Various software tools are used to manage and support variant BOM. All data and documents related to products, parts, assemblies, materials, etc. are managed at a very detailed level, thereby forming the product data backbone for all digital information relevant to the product. Stakeholders across the enterprise can interact with an accurate aligned 3D representation of the BOM without asking the designer or being CAD experts themselves. The data is automatically synchronized with design, engineering and manufacturing tools. For example, any changes made to the CAD automatically gets incorporated in the BOM. This helps to optimize the number of product variants that can be manufactured, which in turn reduces the complexity of product development. Companies hence shift to variant management approach to improve their product time to market and lower their production and maintenance costs. Product configuration. So product configuration, also referred as product customization or knowledge based configuration, is an activity of customizing a product in order to meet the needs of particular customer. The product may consist of mechanical parts, services and electronic or software. Since customers expect unique products adjusted to their individual needs, companies are shifting their way of thinking to be more customer oriented. For example, a customer can configure a variety of shoe styles, colors, materials to create uniquely personalized pair of shoes. Selecting a flat screen television with product variants like LCD or plasma screen, size of the viewing area, etc. can be configured based on the customer needs. A car can have variants, for example, color, engine type, fuel based type. The need to configure products to meet special requirements is becoming the rule rather than the exception in both business to business and business to customer relationships. In order to implement a configuration system, a model describing the product must be defined and implemented, usually in product configurator. Product configurator is a software tool that performs as an online guide to help the customers to specify a product with desired specification by choosing from all available options. The tool helps to transform customer requirements into bill of materials, tests, lists of features, cost estimations, and have a clear separation between the product data information, functionality and presentation. Figure 5.4 illustrates the scope of configuration process. The customer requirements can be an order, quotation or inquiry requesting certain information. Simulated product configurations are created based on the information. It is usually comprised of a bill of material and routing based on a product configuration. It is used to create procurement orders for semi-finished products and direct material purchases related to orders. The simulated configuration is also used to introduce changes in customer requirements and to perform costing. The product configuration is created through the display of questions in the form of features found when the product structures were searched. These questions are then answered by one of the valid options displayed along with each feature. Since questions can be searched for dynamically valid dynamically, only those questions which apply in the different situation need to be answered. The result of the product configuration can be communicated to the customer. The output that the configurator program gives can be, for example, as follows: visualization, pictures, animation, etc., a description, a list of parts, article codes, prices, import file of ERP or CRM, etc. When a manufacturing order is created for a product configuration, internal information about the configuration can be viewed and distributed with the company. So please refer figure 5.4 for product configuration process, that is customer requirements. So product configuration: define basic data for configuration and information to customer. Then this product configuration go ahead with the simulation of a product configuration. So that is purchase requirements, okay, which is related to costing. Yes, next will be manufacturing order, okay, it is internal information and costing will be there for the customer. Benefits of product configurator: this is important, okay. Product configuration is important. So a product configurator in general ensures a profitable solution for the following problems. One is time lost entering orders. Sales engineering can spend more time recording order details for a complex products than they do selling them. It can take hours to ensure that all calculations are complete and specifications are captured and correctly transformed in the correct product. Second will be errors and delays caused by poorly integrated information, that is complex orders can end up as manual documents and spreadsheets. Converting into ERP bombs and route manuals lead to costly mistakes and delays in project starts. Third will be the daily battle to balance speed and quality. Product time to market delivery keeps getting shorter, but engineering cannot compromise standards. So time needs to be focused on building great products, not on data re-entry. So fourth will be inefficient change management. While working with multiple systems, requests to modify product enter the ecosystem too slowly. Without centralized information, production can end up working with different product version than sales and engineering. Deadlines get missed and error costs pile up. Fifth will be no way to access critical product and industry knowledge. Individuals are too pressured and busy to share information and answer questions from sales, the channel and the customers. Next will be material master data. So material master data, often referred as material master or item master, contains description of all materials that a company procures, produces, stores or sell. It is central repository of information on materials and contains information of a variety of data elements including part number, description, technical specifications, and stock codes. Material master is considered as the core functionality for any ERP, that is enterprise resource planning system used in distribution or manufacturing type functions. The integration of all material data in a single materials database eliminates the problem of data uh, redundancy and permits the data to be used not only by various departments but also other applications such as inventory management, materials planning and control, invoice verification, and so on. The description of individual materials used in a company is stored in a material master records. The following list shows some types of information a material master record contains and provides example as of each. So one is related to accounting, valuation and costing, price, calculation information, example, standard price, past and future price, and current valuation. Second will be materials planning and control. Information for material requirements planning, that is MRP, and consumption based planning, inventory control, example, safety stocks level, planned delivery time, and recorder level for a material. Third will be related to purchasing. So data provided by purchasing, for example, for a material example, purchasing group of buyers responsible for material over delivery and under delivery tolerances and the order unit. The fourth will be related to engineering and design data on a material, example, CAD drawings, basic dimensions and design specifications. Fifth will be related to storage. Information relating to the storage or warehouse housing of a material, example, unit of use, storage conditions and packaging dimensions. Sixth will be forecasting. Information for predicting material requirements, example, how the material is procured, forecasting period and past consumption or usage. Seventh will be sales and distribution. Information for sales orders and pricing, example, sales price, minimum order quantity, and the name of the sales department responsible for a certain material. Next will be characteristics of material master. Material master record is identified by the following characteristics. One is material types. Material with some common attributes are grouped together and assigned to a material type. It differentiates the materials and allows organizations to manage different materials in a systematic manner in accordance to a company's requirements. For example, raw materials and finished products are some of the material types. Next will be material groups. Material group is a wide range of material type. Materials with some common attributes are taken together and they are assigned to a material group. For example, materials that are needed for packaging are included under packaged material group. Third will be defining and assigning number range. In material master record, every material is recognized by a unique number known as material number. A number can be assigned to a material group through two ways, that is external number assignment containing alphabets or digits which are unique and assigned manually by the user creating the master record, and internal number assignment wherein the system automatically generates a unique number to the material. The number range after being defined are assigned to the material group. Number assignment is defined within the framework of customizing. Next is assessing master material. Company policy may restrict access to material master data. Restrictions are intended to prevent unauthorized users from changing a material master record. Generally, buyers can view all data for a material but are usually only allowed to change purchasing data in some manner. Material planners or inventory controllers are generally allowed only to change the data directly related to materials planning and control. Only certain users have authorization to enter and change all the data centrally. This material master data you might have experienced when you want to purchase some automobile components. You will go to the showroom, and there the stock department will be there. They will check with the this bomb they by referring which material is available, which part is available, which I have to order. So this you might have experienced, okay, in like Honda or other showrooms. Next will be related to product data description. A product data description is a marketing copy or a hard or soft copy generated by company to provide the customers with sufficient data information regarding the features and characteristics of a product in order to compel them to purchase the product with confidence. The description can contain, it is like a manual, it is like a pamphlet which are doing, okay, product detailed manual and characteristics of the product in order to compel. Okay, the description can contain a brief write-up, photos, images, videos, animation in case of online or web description, etc. By educating customers on the product's key benefits, unique value proposition, and offering a solution to a frustrating problem, product description can help get more sales, lower refund rates, and build customer trust. Product data description writing can be taken from a well experienced data analyst or an expert involved in editorial works. While a good product description attracts customers and increases revenues, a poorly written this product description may turn away the potential customers from a sale. A few guideline steps and or strategies involved in writing product descriptions are briefed as follows. First one is related to define target audience or groups. Not every target group can be triggered with the same style and same content. Some of the key questions what need to be addressed in this regard include: who are the buyers of the product and their needs? What explanation does the product require in order to improve their life or usage value? What exactly is the target audience? How to arouse their emotions? What additional information can be provided to the target group? Such evaluations make it better to describe the content in detail so as to ensure the product seem valuable to them. Second is optimize product description. Customers hate reading stories about the product. Optimizing the description with creativity and specific keywords helps to convey the most important information in a short and sweet manner. Customers can quickly grasp the necessary information and make an instant decision whether the product is likely to benefit them or not. Additional description may be provided only if the product demands for. Third will be focus on products attributes and benefits. At the very minimum, the product description needs to inform the reader the basic functions, uses, characteristics and benefits the product will bring to the buyer. The description must ensure that the product has competitive and unique features that can improve the usage value of the product. It must also tell how the product can improve the buyer's life. Fourth will be use simple and effective language for communication. Product description must be simple and easy to understand. It must also include certain words and phrases that naturally evoke an emotional response in humans that can encourage them to purchase the product. The description can also be supplemented with photos, feedbacks, slogans, celebrity models, and the like that can persuade them to purchase the product. If the product descriptions are online internet, the right keywords in the description can help web searches find the product easily. Videos or animation provides the best and effective mode of communication. Fifth will be fair and transparent. The description must be fair and transparent. For example, describing the product to be of highest quality with complaints coming from all corners is deceptive. Projecting the product to be revolutionary and innovative when it is actually not can make the description being false. People like to buy products from people they trust. Building trust is different from attracting more customers and selling more products. Further, prices and delivery details should be available in a prominent place and be transparent and understandable. The delivery details are as much about the cost as well as the availability and estimated delivery time. Next, we will have a discussion about the data models. All the data related to a product, right from its conceptualization stage to its end life and recycling, must be managed effectively and efficiently to support product development process. The data model or database model serves the purpose in this regard. The objective of data model is mostly to support product data management, that is PDM, functions of a product lifecycle management, that is PLM, by providing a structure for product data uh, creation, identification, storage and exchange during the whole product lifecycle. When a data model is created, there is a need to define the data, its attributes and relationships with the other data, and also define constraints or limitations on the data. Several product data Several product data models have been proposed for product design. Some of the commonly used data models are briefed as follows. One is hierarchical database model. In a hierarchical database model as shown in figure 5.5, the data is organized into a tree-like structure where each record has a single parent or root. That is, the data is stored in a parent-children relationship node such that each child in the tree may have only the one parent, and relationships or linkages between children are not permitted even if they make sense from logic standpoint. The one root parent, and next will be parent child level 1 and level 2. Next is level 2 children child 1 to level 2 child 1 2. Okay, this is hierarchical. Next will be characteristics. Hierarchical data model is the oldest form of database. It is simple in structure. Data access and updating can be made rapidly because the relationships are not established in advance. However, the model uses one to many relationship, making it inflexible because the link is permanently established and cannot be modified. To retrieve a data, one has to traverse through each tree until the record is found. Further, adding a new field or record requires the entire database to be redefined. So next will be network database model. Network database model as shown in figure 5.6 uses a network structure to create relationship between entities. The data is organized in many relationships between linked records. Okay, that is unlike hierarchical databases where one node can have one parent only. Network node have relationship with multiple entities. Next, characteristics of this network database model. Network database model overcomes the drawbacks of hierarchical model by establishing more relationships through multiple paths. However, the network model is complicated, requiring large digital computers. It is one of the popular model in the 1970s. Third will be relational database model, that is RDBMS. In a relational database model, the data is stored in a tabular form of columns and rows. Each column in the table represents an attribute and each row represents a record. Each field in a table represents a data value. Relationships between the data is a relational in nature. The model accounts for one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relationships. Relational databases are the most popular and widely used data management technology in PLM. Some of the popular database management systems are Oracle SQL Server, MySQL, SQLite, and IBM DB2. Characteristics of this will be the model provides flexibility that allows changes to the database structure to be easily accommodated. It facilitates multiple views of the same database for different users. Relational databases can be used with little or no training. Fourth will be object oriented model. Object oriented database model was developed owing to the drawback of relational database model not supporting easily the distribution of one database across a number of servers. In this model, the users can define their own data accessing methods. The representation of data and the method of manipulating it. Characteristics: object oriented databases use small recyclable separated of software called objects. The objects themselves are stored in the object oriented database. Each object contains of two elements. One is piece of data, for example sound, video, text or graphics. Second will be instructions or software programs called methods for manipulating with data. Object oriented data models are designed to work with OOP languages such as Delphi, Ruby, C++, Java and Python. The benefits to object oriented databases are compelling. The ability to mix and match reusable objects provides incredible multimedia capability. Fifth will be object relational model. As the name indicates, this model is a hybrid database model combining the simplicity of the relational model with some of the advanced functionality of the object oriented database model. In essence, it allows designers to incorporate objects into the familiar table structure. Next will be status of items. So status of items is a functional tab to instruct the system to determine the status of an item in a document form. Item status determines which item transaction can be performed in supply chain management applications. By changing an item's status, one can control, for example, whether the items are included on sales orders, material stock requests, purchase orders, etc. The user can also control whether an item can be selected and shipped or used in production or exhausted. The item status determines which item transactions are permitted in the inventory, manufacturing, production plans and enterprise planning. The status of an item is usually identified by any of the following category. First one will be pre-delivery status. The status indicated for items that have not yet delivered. First one is draft, in that item is part of an order that has not been approved. Next will be inactive. Item is not yet being delivered. Items remain inactive as long as they still need creatives and have not been manually activated. If the network has been set to prevent automatic item activation, all line items will remain inactive until they have been manually activated. See in that is ready. Items marked as ready have been activated but have not started delivering. It can take up to an hour after activation for the status to change from ready to delivering. So D in that is pending approval. Items require approval from account administrator or concerned person for delivery. Next will be disapproved. Item has been disapproved by account administrator or concerned person. Next will be expected to under deliver. Item is predicted to under deliver. Insufficient inventory or not enough available impressions is the primary reason for under delivery of an item. Next, second will be status after delivery being initiated. So that status indicated for items that have been started delivering, that is delivering item is serving add impressions, completed items end date has been reached and the item has been stopped delivering, paused delivery has been paused, resume item to continue add delivery, to be resumed the item must have at least one creative assigned. Next will be delivery extended. Item is past its end date and is delivering as fast as possible to meet its goal within the specified extension window. The forecasting system considers items with this status to be complete so that one cannot begin a forecast on them. Third will be status for non-delivering items. The status indicated for items not delivered or have stopped delivering. Inventory list item has been paused or cancelled and its inventory is now available for other items to book. In some situations, this status may appear for items that had not taken previously reserved. However, in this case, there is an indication that the item is not reserving any inventory. Next will be achieved. Item is not delivering and has been removed from active list. Last will be we'll have a discussion about life cycles of individual items or components. The life cycle of a product with multiple component design is different from life cycle of individual component items. Each item has its own life cycle because not all items will be produced in the same stage. For example, if a design related to a particular item moves into production, another item might still be in prototype development stage or still being in the revision stage. Since every component undergoes a series of revisions before it is prototyped and produced, the data related to every such revision must be uploaded and made available to every user involved in the product development cycle. The revision therefore reflects the progress of the item as it undergoes changes. For any revision of an item, it is also important to reflect the current state of that revision, what stage of its life it has reached. This status is referred to as the item revision's life cycle. Each point in an item revision's life cycle is referred to as state. For example, in production, when an item's revision changes state, it is referred to as transition, which can only be another state. Life cycle definitions based on the advanced management style support states that are being clustered into stages. Stages allow labels to be created that identify where an item's revision is in its development. For example, it could be in design or in prototype or in production. With this life cycle information, people that need to use an item in a vault data repository, say for example, from a designer contemplating reuse of released design building block to the supply chain needing the data to fabricate and assemble, are able to see at a glance what stage a revision of an item has reached in its life and therefore what it can be safely used for. So this completes the subject including module 5. So please read the subject thoroughly, and if you have any doubts, you are most welcome to ask me at any time. Okay, please write the assignments so that you will get confidence to write your final exam, and we also will have the second and third internal. And so all the best, study well, and be ready for the exams. Okay, right? Thank you very much.